All right, guys, welcome back to the next episode of the Grand Prairie PD podcast. I'm your host, Nate, reunited with my buddy, KD.
Yeah, back in this time.
It's been a long time, and I was a little salty at you for a while.
Damn, why?
Because you were just gone.
Oh, how you be mad at me?
We started doing this together, and then he got busy, and he would just randomly never be here. And I texted him earlier. I was like, hey, who am I getting to the interview with? He's like, KD. I was like, oh, shit, nice.
Yeah, we back at it.
But I'm excited. We have a special guest with us here today, former UFC welterweight champion Johny Hendricks, and current police officer.
Yes, sir.
Which is a wild. I don't know why you'd want to
go
do this after doing that, but I can't wait to find out. I'm actually really excited. I was watching a lot of MMA at the time during your career, so I'm gonna try to stay focused on actually talking about things outside.
No, we ain't. We ain't finna stay focused. Y'all cut that out. We're gonna go left.
It's fine. I have ADHD real bad, so
same.
We'll find our way back to it.
Yeah.
Whenever I was fighting, I'd have like 5 projects. They'd all be like a fourth done, and then they'd get halfway done.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it'd take like a month, but they'd all get done in that month.
Pieces.
Yep.
But I would get to a point where my brain would be like, yes, I'm not really. It's not. I'm no longer interested in it. And then I'll come to this one.
Yeah.
Interested.
My thing is if I figure out I can do a thing, like if we start off and I'm like, I don't know for sure if I can figure this, whatever this project is or whatever it is out, and I'll be interested and I'll give it my attention. But like once I realize, oh yeah, no, I can definitely finish this, I'm like, whatever. Like I'll get back to it eventually because it's like once I know I can finish it, I don't have that. It's weird.
That drive, yeah. I can see that too. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah. But so, you want to, obviously, Johny Hendricks, do you want to introduce yourself, kind of talk a little bit about your early life and how you got started?
Okay, so I started wrestling when I was 5. Played baseball, football, a little bit of football, only a couple of years of football.
Played baseball. You started wrestling at 5, you mean like on a team, like competitively or just?
So,
in the living room.
Yeah,
right.
Well, no, I started wrestling. So I grew up in Oklahoma, Jones, Oklahoma. Last time I went through there, nothing changed. They still have a Blockbuster. Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah.
This is in 2016.
God dang.
Yeah. They still have a Blockbuster.
Just nobody told them that the corporate shut down.
Just like going to work.
Still going to the building.
Yeah. They still rent movies and that kind of stuff. So, but right by Jones, about 20 minutes is Choctaw. Mm-hmm. So my dad coached there. And so I started wrestling. Because wrestling is not a rich man's sport, right? All you got to do is have a gym usually has mats, and so all you have to really do is buy shoes. So we did that, and then I did baseball, and then we moved to Edmond in my 5th grade year or 6th grade year, and then once we moved to Edmond, that's whenever like I did like 8th grade football and 9th grade football, and then I sort of moved over to just baseball and wrestling, and did that, and then I ended up quitting wrestling to focus on, or quitting baseball to focus on wrestling. Then I ended up going to college for wrestling, wrestled at Oklahoma State, was blessed enough to have 2 national titles with Smith as my coach, had a lot of great teammates, and then graduated college. Once I graduated college, I ended up going into MMA at the time. It wasn't like we were hoping to get to UFC, but not a lot of people get there. You know what I mean? And this is where I say I'm blessed and God had a plan for me. So I had 2 fights, and I met up with some guys who they heard me do an interview, and they're like, "You speak really well, and you enjoy fighting. Would you like to come out?" I was like, "Sure." So I ended up coming out, and remember Tap Out? So Charles was there. And during one of the breaks, I was like, "Hey, I know what you guys do. I've seen some of your shows. I know that you like if you win on that show, you get into the WEC. You know."
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, you know what? Can I, if there's an opportunity, could I be on your, could I get sponsored by you guys and possibly get into the WEC? And he was like, sure, when is your next fight? And I told him when my next fight was. He's like, oh, we have somebody the exact same date. Well, during that TV show, we were about to leave, and I was like, hey, just keep me posted if this will ever work out. And he goes, it's funny you say that because the guy that was supposed to be fighting, he just backed out 4 weeks before because he got the flu.
Oh, shit.
And he goes, so we got to find somebody to replace that, or we're just going to end this season. Yeah. And I said,
you're like, I know a guy.
Yeah, I said, hey, I was like, well, I mean, I live in Vegas, and I know you guys live out here. He goes, let me get back with you. 2 days later, they're coming, they're like, hey, we got to do a crash course. Oh, we got to do a crash course? Sorry, thanks. Look at me whenever I do that.
You don't think it would be a thing. You're like, you're like, I don't hit tables. But then as soon as you sit down and talk on the microphone, it's just for some reason I do it too.
Yes. And so that ended up happening. They came out, we did a little filming, and then we ended up they came to Oklahoma, and I ended up winning that fight. So that's how I got put into WEC.
WEC. So what does that stand for?
World Extreme Combat or Cage Fighting, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So that was before it was called.
Well, they merged.
Okay.
Separate. So
okay.
You had smaller shows, and then it was WEC was once you did good enough and you won the belt a little bit, then they'd bring you up to the UFC.
Okay.
So it was like the minor leagues.
Yeah, feeder.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I ended up winning my first fight, TKO, and then the next fight, I went with a guy. So I'm 4-0. And my fifth fight was, if I win, I get put in the UFC. If I lose, I'd have to find another track to get back in there. So
how did you, from a business perspective, how did you know, okay, is Dana talking to you saying, hey, if you can pull this one out, you're going to get in?
Well, so what happened was they said, so they took away the 205 and they merged it with UFC. They took away the 185 and they merged it into UFC.
Yeah. Did they buy WEC at one point?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And that's why they were trying to, because WEC was more known because Uriah Faber and those guys were there. So it was more 125 to 155.
Yeah.
So they were wanting to get the bigger weights over here and then maybe have two separate things that could compete with each other, right?
Yeah.
But they'd own both. And so I was the last fight for the welterweight. I ended up winning my fight. I broke my hand in the first round, which sucked. And the dude was, so I'm 4-0. The guy I'm fighting has over 20-something fights. So I'm like, man, this sucks. So I got to find a way. I ended up winning, and then I got put in the UFC. And my thought process was I would like to have 10 fights.
Okay.
Before I got in the UFC, right?
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Because I'm not a big fish in my head at this point. Well, in my head I am, but knowledge-wise and fighting-wise, I knew that I wasn't ready to jump into UFC at that point, right? Okay. But mentally I was ready, if that makes sense. But I ended up getting put in the UFC, and then I met my coach. He was Ken Hahn. He put me through a crash course. So he was a bare knuckle world champ over in Thailand, in that area. They couldn't hit to the face, but you could do everything else, right? He put me through the most brutal training you can possibly think of. So we would bare knuckle fight a lot, and not hitting to the face, but hitting to the body, and taking leg kicks with no shin guards.
Yeah.
Oh, it was brutal. And I remember in my first day there, he was like, all right. He had a 500-pound bag. And it's full of sand, but everything was at the bottom.
Yeah.
He looks at me and goes, all right, I need you to kick that 200 times until you find a dent. Once you have a dent in there, then you can move to your right leg. I was like, okay. I was like, how hard can this be?
Yeah. You kicked bags before.
Yeah, I've kicked a couple bags. maybe like 5 kicks. I got a little dent. I can move to my left and my right leg. So I kicked that first time. I thought I broke my freaking shin. I hit it. It was like damn concrete.
Yeah.
Bam. I'm like, oh. I look back. He's over there laughing at me. I'm like, oh. My foot, my shin, like halfway up my shin to my toes were bright red.
Yeah.
My next kick was like,
Yeah.
like the lightest, the lightest kick.
Tap.
Oh, I was so mad. I was like, oh. And then I learned, like, you got to deaden those muscles, those tendons and whatever's in your shins, deaden them. And he did that. And then he used to walk on my stomach, do stuff like that. Yeah. Because I had to do a crash course.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Jean-Claude Van Damme as I'm hearing all of this, right? Yeah. God, bro, if you walk in front of me and say, no, we finna knuckle up and fight. No, I got a pistol for that. Yeah, you can't hit me. Now, I'm glad you had rules like you don't hit in the face. But that was just for practice, right? Because when you get in the cage, you can hit in the face.
Yeah, but you have, they say they're 4-ounce gloves, but they're only about 1/2 inch thick, right? They're made to where you can hit hard as you want without breaking your hands most of the time.
So like boxers pre-wrap, like the
Pretty
white
much.
pre-wrap.
So, but we, so boxers, if you look at their hands, they're almost stuck like this.
Right.
Right? Because they can wrap, they can tape, they can do so much. The only thing you can't touch is this, where the knuckles are, right?
Right.
But they're it's almost a cast. So Stitch became my hand man. So anytime I was going to get my hands wrapped, Stitch would do it. Because he lived in Vegas and he heard about my power. And I've broken these hands so many times. And I don't break the small bones, I'm breaking the big bones. Mm-hmm. And so when you do that, it's a lot more force. And it takes a little bit longer to heal, they say. But so he would wrap my hands a certain way so I could throw 100%. If they didn't wrap my hands that way, I could only throw like 80 or I'd break my hand.
And you say wrap a certain way, are you talking like just the, like, I guess how tight the wrapping, or is like the specific design, or? Yeah, so he would do it in a way that would keep my bones like this. Like closer. If I grip for too long, like say like 15, 20 seconds, my hand would go numb. Okay. Because like my tendons would cut off circulation. Right. But I needed it that way so that way I could hit hard. Yeah. It'd keep my bones in place whenever I hit somebody. And if it was too loose of a wrap, when you hit, the force would come in and it separates those, and then it breaks bones. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so, and you said you fought, you broke a hand in a fight early in the fight, 30 seconds. Yeah. So you're having to push forward. I've always wondered, like, how much are you feeling that during a fight, or is it like afterwards you're like, shit, why'd I do that?
So the 5th fight, this is why I learned I got to put stuff in the back of my mind. I broke it, and I was like, oh, that sucked. So I was like, but I can't let my opponent know, right? Right. Man, I hit him that next time. It's a different type of feeling. I laugh about it because pain sometimes makes me smile. Mm-hmm. And so whenever I hit him, I was like, in my head, I was like, like I wanted to scream out loud, right? Yeah. And I was like, dude, this sucks so bad. So the next time I hit him, I was coming in hard, and then like right at the last minute, I was like, and it was like this was the 3rd period too. It was the 3rd round, sorry. And he noticed that I hit him soft because at that point I couldn't. Yeah. Like I think I fractured like 4 of them.
God damn.
Of those little bones, because I kept hitting him. Yeah. And then at a certain point, my body was like, okay, you can't take it anymore. Yeah. Like, you're starting to feel it again. Yeah. So, man, he, like that 3rd round, he beat my ass. Yep, he brought it. Right? But I was getting to his legs, I was doing stuff, so he didn't hit me in the face, but he was hitting my body, like, doing that kind of stuff. And I was like, pain's temporary, they say, prize forever. Man, that pain lasted for like 3 weeks. Because he kept elbowing me in my kidney back here. Yeah. Oh, man. I was like, I couldn't drive home. I was like driving home like this. So, yeah, that sucked a little bit. I have many stories like that, but it is what it is. So, and then I'm in the UFC, right? So I win that fight. I'm in the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
I break my hand and I break my nose within a week of the fight.
Like leading up to it in training camp.
Yeah. So
You training too hard.
I mean, you got to.
well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
At a certain point, people quit training with me because they knew I could hit hard, and I didn't have control of it 100% at that time. So my usual training partner was like Forrest Griffin or a heavyweight. Like we had 3 heavyweights that were extreme couture at that time. So that was my normal training partners. So they were 250 to 285. And then Forrest Griffin's he's what? I think he walked around like 245, 6'4".
God, I didn't know he was that heavy.
Yeah, during that time. So I trained with them a lot.
Yeah.
And so I was training. It's the Friday before. And this dude, he's like 6'3", 270. He hit. I saw it coming, and you know, in your head, you're like, "There's no way this dude's about to do what I think he's doing," because I wasn't hitting him hard because I know, like, I was hitting him at like 80%.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go power to power because he's bigger, and in my head, I'm like, I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like something bad could happen to me, so I was sticking and moving, using head movement. Well, he got mad. He freaking hit me, and when he hit me, I still have the dent right here. He hit me, and it, bam. I went back like 3 foot, and I hit a bag. And the bag, like, flew back a little bit, and it hit me, and I came forward.
Jeez.
I was so mad. I was so mad. Like, and this is when I knew that I had that killer instinct, right? It just clicked. I hit him so hard that he fell to the knee. Like, I hit him square in the nose. I think I broke his nose. He fell to a knee, and he was like already loopy. But in that moment, like I turned my hips, and I just came back with another left hand, boom, laid him out. And my coach was like, "No!" I saw him like going, "No!"
Like in the movies.
Yeah, but I was like, I didn't care. Bam, hit him, and then I was like, "No, did you not see what that dude just did? He hit me like,
Yeah.
And I think he just broke my nose because it's like bleeding everywhere."
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I went that Monday to see, and then whenever I hit him, I broke my hand. So I went into the fight.
Oh, insult to injury.
I know, right? So I went into that fight against Mir Sadala. That was my first UFC fight. I prayed. I was like, "God, please make this a quick one." I'm all banged up.
Yeah.
And I ended up knocking him out in like 36 seconds or something like that. So I was super excited.
Yeah, I bet.
So I'm sorry, I'm new to this. So in your UFC fights, is it true? Like, do you get more money if the fight goes a longer distance, like what, 3 rounds?
No. So you have your show up pay and your win pay.
Show up pay?
Yeah. So if you make
Damn,
weight,
just come on there. There's a check.
Hey, you got to make weight and you got to walk into the octagon.
Yeah.
So you get in the octagon, this is your guaranteed pay.
Yeah.
And then if you win, you get this.
Okay.
And then if you get a knockout, fight of the night, knockout, bonus, all those kind of things, you can get certain bonuses too.
Yeah.
So those are things that were incentives to go out there and fight. Because, you know, like Pride, they used to have the warning. I don't know if you ever watched Pride, but if a fight got too boring, they would say stalling, and then they would put a guy on bottom, and then the guy could pick where he wanted to be, in a sense, like on his back, or they could stay standing.
Yeah.
And so that was sort of their incentive to try to get people who wanted to showcase and do good.
So did you have an agent?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
At that time, I had a manager, and they handled pretty much all the background stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I just had to worry about fighting and training. You know, I was talking to somebody. I put about 35 hours a week in.
Just in the gym?
Yep. So I'd put about, I was running anywhere from 10 to 12 miles a day, for 3 months.
Is this besides a full-time job?
No, I didn't have a full-time job. My fighting
okay.
was a full-time job.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Because by that time, because after the first season of Ultimate Fighter, the sport exploded.
Yes.
Obviously, and, like the guy he was training with, Forrest Griffin, he was involved in a fight that I think it was the first time it was on network TV. Is what it was.
Yeah, so it was season. I think it was season 2 or 3, but it was the first one. Like it's the first time they actually televised that, like the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
And so
Before it was all pay per view and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it just people saw it and they were like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!" And it just exploded. So before, like guys really they would have full time jobs, they'd be fighting and stuff like that. But then, like right around that time, it started like, "Hey, this is a legitimate sport." They professionalized it. They started getting like legitimate pay.
But there wasn't pushback from the small hand wraps.
No, because of like you can do certain wraps, you can't make it like a boxer wrap. You can't over tape it.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. So, and the commission would like. So if I'm gonna do your hands, the commissioner's gonna be standing right there.
To watch.
They're gonna be like,
Yeah.
Right.
making sure you don't. If you mess up at all, they'll be like, nope, cut it off. Start over. And you're like, but it felt good.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, sure felt good to you.
Yeah, they're
it's
like,
not gonna feel good to that guy.
Yeah, they're like, nope, take it off. And you're like, okay. But that's why they brought in those certain people too, like Stitch and some other guys. They brought them in to just wrap, like cut men.
Yeah.
And they would wrap our hands and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned like your first fight, you get in there, 30, 36 seconds, you're getting a knockout, you're going home. Obviously, in that particular situation, you're relieved because you feel like you're going in kind of compromised.
Yeah.
But because you knocked out John Fitch in a ridiculously short period of time.
Yeah.
So a fight like that, or either one of them really, where like you've done all this much, you're running your 10, 12 miles a day, you're doing all this 35 hours a week of training, and then you walk in and it's over like that. Are you happy or relieved, or are you just like, man, that was a lot of work I didn't need to do?
It's a catch-22, right?
Yeah.
It is, because I've like TJ Grant, became really good friends with him. He's from Canada. That was a hard weight cut for me. So that was the fight I started. So if you watch my fights, I always crawl up the stairs. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I started that is because with that fight, I had to run so much to get some weight off because of the flight. I didn't anticipate the flight, that long of a flight. Mm-hmm. And so my body held on a little bit more water than it needed to. So I had to run. Does that
happen because of the altitude? Or?
Well, yeah. So when you fly, and some people swear by it, the full body suits, like compression suits. Mm-hmm. So I used to wear those. And I will say you can tell the difference because, like, whenever I'd wear mine, like my feet and my ankles would my feet and my hands would blow up a little bit. So I'm drinking, you got to think I'm drinking like 2 to 3 gallons of water a day. And I'm getting on a plane. The altitude does make you swell a little bit. And then so what happens is like you swell a little bit from the compression of the cabin.
Oh, okay.
So you'll swell a little bit, and then it makes it a little bit harder to pull the water out.
Yeah. That sucks.
Because it does something weird where...
And if you don't know that, you're going in thinking, I got this much time to get rid of this 100 pounds.
So I was like, I was struggling to get that last pound out. So, I couldn't sprint. And I couldn't run. Like, I did a light jog. I was like, my legs are blown. They're done. Yeah. So that fight, man, it was a brutal one. He broke my nose in, like, the first, I think, like, minute and a half. Great knee, right down the middle. I saw it coming, but I was like, move. But I couldn't move my legs, right? So I was like, still bent over. I was like, come up. You're going to miss it. And then, man, he broke it. Just blood went everywhere. And then I hear his coach goes like, you broke his nose. Hit him in the nose. I'm like, you haven't touched me with a punch yet. You're going to hit me in the nose. And as I'm thinking that, smack right in the freaking nose. I took a step back. I started smiling like, damn. Yeah. He got me. And so we ended up, it was a good fight. It was a good fight. And I actually became friends with him. And when we would meet up, we would hang out, go drink beers together, and do that kind of stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of kind of making, mid. I said how we weren't going to spend the whole time just talking about the weird talking stuff too.
Bro, I have 100 questions.
So whenever you're, as far as like mid-round adjustments and stuff like that, how much of that stuff are you actually hearing? Or able to like consciously making it? Because I know I've like, you watch some really tough fights and it's like these guys are getting these rapid fire instructions. This guy's trying to cool him down. This guy's talking to him. This guy's talking to him as well. And it's like, I just no way not concussed I could make those adjustments.
Oh, okay. So I know what you're saying. So whenever I was fighting, I couldn't hear the crowd.
Oh, really?
No. My brain was so focused on my coach and the other coach. So when I'm fighting, whatever the other coach would say, I'd be like, oh, shit, I might be open for that. Make this adjustment. So you have to make adjustments on the fly.
So go ahead. No.
So they would say something, and man, I automatically. You'll see people they'll circle out after a coach yells something. They'll circle, or they'll start taking a step a different way, and their coach isn't saying it. You'll hear the opponent's coach say something, and a smart fighter that understands the game, they will make that adjustment as soon as they hear hey, the hook's there, boom, you're gonna see them start making that adjustment, or they'll take a half step back, so that now I neutralize your counter. And it for you to reach the top, you have to have that, right? So I worked out 35 hours a day or a week. That's not counting. I would watch so much footage of boxers, even other MMA fighters, and I got so obsessed with it that my coach would yell out a name and I would fight them to a T.
As far as like style emulation?
Yeah, so I would go straight to their style. And they'd say another one. I would mimic it almost 90 to 95% correct.
No kidding.
And so my coach would sit there and they started playing with it. Man, I'd go through 5 different styles in a 5-minute round with one of the guys I'm sparring against. They'd just be like, I'd be in the middle of a combo and they'd say, hey, you're this now. And then I'd automatically start, and I'd shift off and I'd start mimicking that person.
That makes sense, yeah.
and so, and I felt like it helped me so much because if I can mimic these guys, if I watch some footage of you, now I can mimic you for at least a week or two. And then what I'll do is I'll try to mimic him to the best I can, and then I figure out where you can hit me at and where you can't. And then I'll switch to my stance and do my stuff, and I'll see where could I hit myself. So as I'm fighting my opponent or my partners, I'm also thinking ADHD, right? I'm also thinking how, if I was in this stance, would I get hit here, there? So my brain's running 100 miles an hour, even though I'm sparring this guy. I'm thinking about my opponent, what I'm doing, could he counter here? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, man, I'd just sit there and I'd be, my brain would be all over the place. My coach would be like, what are you thinking? I'm like, Coach, well, I know if I, did you see this? And then I started explaining it to him. They're like, you're sparring this guy. Why are you doing this? And I'm like, well, I mimicked him for so long. Now I know if I do this, so watch this. Tell me if this looks any better. I'd go out there next round. I'd do what I'm thinking, and then it would all sort of mesh.
Yeah. Did y'all have guys in camp that were particularly good at style emulation and use them? Say I'm fighting this guy and I know he fights a certain way, and basically it would be that guy's job to watch film and learn to mimic that fighter. To
a certain extent, yeah, but for the most part, I relied on myself because, again, I go back to say God blessed me with a lot, and a lot of it is if you show me something, I can have it down. You show me once or twice, I'll be able to hit it within 90%. So whenever I visually watch somebody, I would start doing it, and the next thing you know, I would have a good understanding of why he's being able to do what he's doing, and then where is weight shifting? Would a leg kick block it? Would a body shot? I start picking it apart whenever you're watching and you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know it's hard to explain, but that's how. I think my wife a lot too. God put a good woman in front of me because I had to be selfish. We had a lot of kids, so a lot of times I might not go to bed until 5 o'clock in the morning watching fights.
Yeah.
And I'd wake up at 10 o'clock, tired, hungry, because I cut from 215 to 170. So whenever I make weight, I'm right around 1 to 2% body fat, and then whenever I'd fight, I'd blow back up to about 200.
Which is a 24-hour period.
Yes. Yeah, and then, but that's when you could do IVs. And I tell everybody this.
I was wondering why they disallowed that.
Because people, I'll tell you this, because people, there's cheaters out there. Okay? And a lot of people thought I was a cheater. But a lot of people don't understand. I grew up working with my hands, doing manual labor. Like I tell people a lot, go find a 6-year-old man who's farmed a lot.
Oh yeah.
Go grab his hand.
Yeah.
Shake his hand. And he's gonna try. He's gonna try to break it, and he's not really trying. He's just so. It's just a different strength. I don't look strong, right? But when you grab me, it's a different strength. I don't. It's again goes back to genetics, blessing, God, all those things come into play. So they were using the IVs to mask that they were throwing steroids or painkillers and that, you know what I mean?
No
like
kidding.
that kind of stuff. Yeah. So they, so
Hey, no, it's a thing you could do that would mask it.
because it dilutes it, so the saline. So I always did, I call it a cocktail. It'd be all your vitamins, potassium, everything that you lose during weight loss. That's all I'd put back in myself, and all the vitamins you possibly can. And so I'd make weight around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. At 6 o'clock, I would try to have a gallon down, but I usually that usually came back up. So because your stomach's so shrunk.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
Have you ever
So-
seen that with the weight cut, the cut process?
no.
Yeah, you want to explain a little bit about?
Okay. All right. So I'm drinking 3 gallons of water a day.
Okay.
So I'm at 2% body fat, but I weigh 195.
Okay.
I'm drinking 3 gallons of water.
All right.
So that's 24 pounds, right? So during that last week, I'm intaking I burn about 2,500 calories a day if I did nothing.
Okay.
The average person burns right around 12 to 1,500, right? So I have a high metabolism. So I would intake about 500 to 700 calories. So that last 3 pounds of fat or 2 pounds of fat would get burned off that week,
Yeah.
right? And then what you do is you're drinking 24 pounds of water every day, and then at Thursday at noon you're done. So by Thursday at noon, I'm really probably 14 pounds over to make 170.
Okay.
Then I do a hard cut, and then you make the weight, and
You're
then
shooting for around 5 p.m. Friday
Yes.
for the weight.
yeah. So I at 2 o'clock, I would like to be at 170, 170.2, right around 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because I know that my body will burn that 0.2 off before I go to, because I'm
It's
trying to
crazy
make
how precise
exactly
it is.
170.
I was gonna say it's mad.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
mad.
I know, and usually whenever I'd make weight, it'd be 169.9,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean. The 170 would barely break. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
Now it's time to eat back up, drink back up, and so what I would do is eat a lot of pasta with sodium, sodium strong, chips and salsa, anything I could put in my body was as much sodium to try to hold. I'm chugging water, drinking. I wouldn't drink any pop or anything like that. Worst thing I'd drink is tea. And so by 11 o'clock, I might be right around 200 pounds. So I weighed 170, and then I'm already up to 200 pounds by 11 o'clock. So in 6 hours, I gained 30 pounds. Then I do my IV. That put me about, I would usually take 3 bags.
Yeah.
And then and why I loved IVs because they shoot it straight to your muscles.
Yeah.
And your organs and in your brain. And then once you did that, I'd go to bed at like 2:08, but whenever I woke up, I'd be like 200. Getting all that, like I would sweat. Like I would sleep on a separate, like, so my hotel had 2 bags, 2 beds, excuse me. I'd sleep on the other one the night before because I would just sweat.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because of, I just gained 35 pounds.
Just hard on the body.
Yeah, just my body would just sweat because I'm warm blooded, or I put off a lot of heat. So my room would be like 60 degrees, but I would still be sweating.
God, that sucks.
And so
It's gonna make it hard to sleep tonight before a fight too.
well, it doesn't because the night before, you might get 2 hours of sleep because your stomach's growling.
Yeah.
You can't like
Yeah.
you're starving.
Yeah.
You're like.
A little sleep deprivation.
Yeah, and like I would always carry like something to like pop your tongue off the roof of your mouth because like you get so bad cotton mouth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like you'd be talking and all of a sudden your tongue would get stuck. You'd be like,
I always see guys do like the weight cuts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you see like Makachev and whatnot doing them now. And it's like, or Oliveira's the one who was doing it recently where like he had the guys like praying for him or something. I was like, it's a stupid part of my brain, but it's just like, I want to try that. Like just see how much it actually sucks. But that sounds sadistic.
so if you, let's say you weigh, like losing weight, like I weigh 235 right now. In a week I can be down to 220.
Just like
Easy. Like I could easily by, and if I really wanted to, by Monday, I could be down to 220, 215 if I wanted to. I could drop 20 pounds.
now, is that just you being able to take your body to an extreme, or do you think your body kind of gets used to that type of cycle and can bounce back?
Okay, I'll tell you a funny story. So the police games this year, I was doing jiu-jitsu part of it.
That's bullshit. They shouldn't let you do that.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything bad.
You
okay?
disqualified right now, sir.
I didn't do anything bad. Okay.
You're at the NCAA. Like, have you ever been paid to do this? No.
It was all for fun, right? I went out there. I didn't train. I didn't run. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to get down to 220. So I got down to 220 within like 3 days.
God damn. And you were from 235?
Yeah. And all of a sudden my body was like, what are you doing?
I thought we were done with this
Yeah.
shit.
He goes, and like all of a sudden, the next thing I know, I was up to 245. Because my body was like, I thought we were done. And like, so I was working out hard for those 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was watching what I ate, did everything correctly. And then I was down to 220. And then like in my head, I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm doing this for fun, right?
Yeah.
So I quit working out for 2 days. I went back and got on the scale. I was like, holy crap, I'm 245. I need it. So I was like, okay.
Golly.
So I gained 25 pounds in 2 days because my body was like, it remembers what it
That's all I was
used
wondering.
to be.
Yeah, if it just
And so,
used to those
dude,
extremes.
I just started eating. And I wasn't even hungry, but my body was remembering the old
Telling
days.
you, yeah.
And I just like, I feel so bloated. And then I went and got on the scale. And then I didn't eat for 1 day. I got back down to 235.
God dang, I can't lose 10 pounds. Like, I drop weight pretty quick, but I can't lose 10 pounds just not eating.
Yeah, so like just walking around doing normal police work.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, so look, it's 35 degrees outside.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing short sleeves, my vest. I'm still sweating. I'll have a beanie and my gloves on, and I'll be sweating. Directing traffic. Hey, I tell everybody, you want to figure out the best of humanity, go direct traffic for 10 minutes.
Oh, dude.
You're going to be like, beat your head against the wall. Beat your head against the wall.
Yeah. But we're also, we're also talking about, we have color-coded lights that people still can't figure out, so.
Stop.
So true. But I think part of it is like for us, we're starting to get new lights, right? Like stoplights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, but for the first like month, they're always flashing red.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, a lot of those people, like, they get in a wreck, and I look at them like, "Do you have a red or green?" They're like, "Well, I had a green." Well, mine was red, but and I was like, "Was it blinking or was it solid?"
That's what police is come to.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, it's solid." I'm like, "Yeah, because they work now." You're not saying it like I'm doing a little sarcastic now, but like to them, I'm like,
It's a mistake. You kind of see, yeah.
I'm like,
Especially if you're driving home.
yeah. I tell people this all the time. Like, I love nights, right? I love nights, but sometimes you get so tired, and I almost pulled a guy over because we're like right by our PD. We have a stop sign. I was there for like 5 minutes waiting for it to turn green because you're so tired. I'm like, and a dude pulled up beside me at 5:30 in the morning, and he stopped, and he just took off. It like jarred me. I was like, oh, I almost I hit my back lights to pull him over. I was like, damn, that's a stop sign. I just drove the PD. I was like, I was there for like 5 minutes in a day. It's like, this thing's never gonna turn green.
Yeah.
You're right. It wasn't.
Bro, okay, listen, I wanted to ask you. So I got a few buddies that play NFL, and they would say, KD, I would 100% not push my son to play in the NFL because of the CTE and all these injuries and what we deal with. How is that with you? Like, what are you feeling as far as, man, would you push your son to fight knowing what you've gone through, broken nose, bones, the whole issue?
Part of me says yes, and a part of me says no. The reason why I say yes, I'm raising a man, not a boy. Does that make sense? I need him to know that you're gonna get hit with struggles. You're gonna get hit with certain things, and you have to find a way. I can't always help you find your feet.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You have to get back up. You know that old saying: you get bucked off, you get back on. You ride it again, right? I think we've fallen away from that in a lot of ways. So, in my mind, like I despise bullying, right? I do. I was bullied, but I learned a couple of fights. I had 2 fights, 3 growing up. 2 was one bully, but the second fight changed everybody's outlook on should they pick on me. The first fight didn't go very well. I learned getting hit sucks, right? But I knew it was necessary. After the second fight, like I said, people were like, okay, maybe we don't want to mess with him. I never bullied anybody, but they stayed away from me. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like you got to have that mentality, because there's always somebody that's going to harm you. There's always going to be somebody who's going to try to put you down in anything,
right?
In any aspect of life, work, out of work, all that kind of stuff. If we don't teach them at a young age, by the time they get to high school, we get to deal with them, right? I don't know how many parents I've called and said, "Do you let when's the last time your husband spanked your kid?" "Oh, I don't allow that." And I go, you know what? You either allow it or we're going to deal with him when he turns 17.
Yep.
So it's your choice. You can raise him to stay a boy. I told a couple people this, and every time I'm like, "Sarge, you might be getting a complaint." And I tell them, I'm like, they either get disciplined by you guys or they're going to get disciplined by us. I don't want to discipline your kid.
Because that's all we do. We deal with adults they exhibit the exact same, I'd say to use the word discipline, but like disciplinary type issues that your kids do when they're 14, 15, 16 years old.
Right.
It's just more serious because they're adults, and now, the shoplifting has turned into drugs, and the, bullying at school has turned into a drive-by, or, whatever the case is. It's just the consequences are bigger.
Or they stab somebody because they got beat up, or they got punched in the face and they didn't like it, but you showed up there to fight. Yep. You know what I mean? You're right. Like, a lot of people, they steal something, they notify them they steal something, and the parents like, it's okay, don't do it again.
It's crazy to me. I mean, crazy.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm gonna get a complaint call on that one. I can assure you. Yeah, with the area growing so much, like everybody's moving out there. How is the police department changing? Like, are y'all hiring a bunch of people? Or?
Yeah, we've hired a bunch of a lot of laterals, but we're also hiring some new guys too.
Yeah.
Sometimes hard with the laterals, they're caught in their own ways or their old department ways, and so that's sometimes tricky to deal with, right? But for the most part, most of them, they come in, they fall in line. We have mid-techs there.
Mid-techs?
Mid-techs where, like, you know where those cars are?
Yes, I was going to ask you about that, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So a lot of cars were getting stolen before they beefed up the security there. Mm-hmm. And they started hiring us, right? Mm-hmm. Well, one night, me and my buddy were right there, and we were like, oh, the call came out. They actually called us on time, so we're like, sweet. We're right behind them, and it's those Cadillacs with the 6.2 superchargers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We were running 135, and all of a sudden my thing, they went from 140. I heard the motor, like the pipes. Yeah. It said 160, 150, 160, 170. I was like, how fast? Like, he was gone. Because, like, right when you hit Cedar Hill, you come up over that hill, and then there's that 182 right there. It's a straight shot all the way until you hit 35. Mm-hmm. He knew it too, and man, he hit that, and he blacked out. I saw him. I was like,
God, I can't imagine going that. That gets me. That makes my palms sweaty.
Yeah.
Well, but at like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, there's like, I think we passed 2 cars. Yeah, and he just freaking. I'm like. How we can't keep up with this.
God, no.
Like,
you need a helicopter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where is that bird?
Yeah.
So how long have you been a police officer?
5 years.
Okay. What?
6 years county academy, whatever. Yeah. All that kind of stuff. But yeah.
So I'm gonna once we kind of wrap this up, I'm gonna go back asking more questions about the sports stuff. But so you find like the ultimate success in the UFC. You've eventually become champion in your weight class. How do you go from that to decide to be a police officer in Midlothian, Texas?
Since I lived there and my kids go to school there.
So you lived there the whole time you were
since 2011. Okay. So I started in 2007.
Right.
And then I moved to Mansfield for like that 8 months or whatever, and then we sold and moved to Midlothian. So I've lived there whenever it was small and seen it grow. But I was going to join the military because with my background, I wanted to get like government contracts and teach that stuff, right? And that super hard to get into. So I tried to do other jobs, and I'm not a desk person. Mm-hmm. I'm not a person that can, like, you show me something, I'll learn it, and then once I learn it, what's next? Where a lot of places you can't do what's next until you have so many years, right? Mm-hmm. Where police, it's always changing. Every traffic stop, every domestic. So whenever I retired, I started doing those government contracts, and I lost them. I was going to join the military. Mm-hmm. But my wife said no. So I already had it mapped out. I was going to go.
Because how old were you at that point?
I was 35, 36. Right. 36. And 36 is a cutoff for military. Mm. And so if I joined a couple of groups I was training, there was some spots going to be opening up. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, I'll go to basic. Basic's not going to be that hard. Definitely for what I've done in my life. Yeah. I'll try to be the best at it, and then that'll show that I'm ready for this. So I already had it mapped out, and I had a couple guys helping me, sort of how you need to do, and they'll help me get in these classes, right? So I already had it planned out. I tried for like 4 months. Well, I was like, no, and then she got on like that, like a job finder. And she looks at me and goes, what about policing? I was like, you know what? it actually doesn't sound that bad. You know, I know a lot of police officers and that kind of stuff, so it doesn't sound that bad. Ended up doing it, and man, I love working. I love meeting people. I love the unknown. It keeps me sharp up here, right? Because as soon as you think you know it,
something's different.
They're going to throw a curveball. And being able to talk to people, ask questions, that's what I enjoy. So that's how I end up going from that to this.
Do you ever find yourself, because you are so comfortable with physical confrontation, do you ever find yourself in a situation where it's like, hey, or at least maybe more in the beginning of your career, or your policing career, but you're like, hey, if I have to throw down with this guy, it's not a big deal. Thinking more in the sense of like an MMA fighter, as opposed to, hey, this guy might have a knife, he might have a gun. Like, was there an adjustment period away from that rule set?
So in my head, I'll let them get away with a little bit more if it's me and my partner's away from me than I will if my partner's close to me.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
because you know how you'll react.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you know your skill.
I know my skill level. We had a DWI. The guy, I thought he was trying to get past my corporal. I thought he elbowed him in the back of the head to get around him, right? As soon as he came towards me, boom, I hit tossed him, and he slid right between like the they have like little work areas, and they're about 20 foot long, each one of them. He slid right between them, and before the guy could move, my corporal said before he could even turn around, I was on top of him, like had him in a position where I had complete control of him, and I was telling the guy, hey, enough is enough, just stop.
Yeah.
Okay, you're good. Quit reach for my taser, and as soon as you reach for my taser, I squeeze a little harder, and he'd be like, oh, that hurt. I'm like, then quit reaching for my taser. Yeah. Just calm down. And so
it's a gentle ass whooping.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's stuff like that and then another guy, he went up to my partner. We're going to a fight. There's probably about 30 people. There's a house. It was a family gathering. Somehow it turned into a fight. A couple people were fighting, and
that's what happens,
right? Alcohol.
Yeah.
And so we show up, and me and my partner are first. I came this way. He came this way. There's probably about 15 people in this area, and then the one of them it turns out to be the victim. He ran up to my partner and started like getting in his face. Before he could say two words, I had him like in a straight arm bar, and I had his arm up, and I was gonna like in my head, I'm like, just break it. Right. But in my head, I'm like, I can't do that anymore because it's an IMA. So I like pulled it just enough. He's like, you're gonna break my arm. I go, then give me your hand. Slowly, and then I'm gonna put cuffs on you. So like he went from fighting to a puppy dog really quick.
Right.
And then I didn't even have to. I just went funk, and then I brought that arm down. He's like, you're gonna break my arm. You're gonna break my arm. I was like, no, I'm not. Click. And then when I let go, like all the pressure relieved. And then after that, he was like scooting towards me, like, when you take these cuffs off, I was like, oh, no, you're not.
Oh, saying he's going to kick the shit out of you? Yeah.
I was like, okay, I've been to prison, I've been all this stuff. I'm like, okay. Well.
Dude, I used to feed into it more when I was younger. I think we all probably did. But, like, yeah, you want to get these cuffs off, I'm going to kick your ass and do this, that, and the other. I'm like, they're not permanent. Like, they're going to come off.
Yeah.
Like, you keep making your promises, buddy. Like, I'm gonna be literally gonna take them off of you, and then they always come off, and you're just like, no.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll cuss back.
You know what? That's funny you say that. I was telling somebody this the other day on our. So I help with my boys' football team, and I was telling him this. He was about 5'4", about 120-pound black guy, about the size of your wrists. Dude, he was talking mad trash. I was laughing because I thought it was funny to me and my sergeant. And he's like, when you take these cuffs off, I'm going to beat your ass. Come to this jail cell. Just come to this jail cell. for 20 minutes, just rattling off stuff. I'm laughing. He's like, "Oh, you think it's funny?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I'll be honest with you, I do.
Yeah.
Dude, you're coming up with some good stuff. It's not original, right?
Yeah.
And you're not saying the same thing over. So thank you." And he's looking at me, and so we take off the cuffs, and I just back out of the cell slowly, and I shut it. And he turns around. He's like, "I told you, don't come in the cell. We're gonna fight." And then we get a call. I'm like, "Hey, I'll be back. We'll take pictures, X, Y, and Z." And as soon as I said we'll be back, he's like, "Hey, be safe out there. It's a rough world." And I looked at him. I just started laughing. I was like, "Thanks, man. Hey, I'll see you in give me about 30 minutes. We'll be back." He goes, "When you come back, I'm going to beat that ass." I was like, "Oh, dude, I love this guy." You know what I mean? Even DWIs, when people do that stuff, whenever they come up with I had this one guy. He said, the first time he said it was funny. And then, so I laugh. And he's like, "What do you think so funny?" And then he kept saying it. And I was like, "Hey, man, first couple times, good." And that's why I laughed. I said, "But you got to come up with something different."
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And he took offense to that. He just kept saying it. I was like, "Oh, come on." You know what I mean? But whenever they come up with multiple things, you're just like, "Dude, that's great."
They make up a name that you just sounds absurd at first. You're like, I kind of like that. I don't have to use that.
So this guy, I wrestled him for DWI. He ended up finding out as me, who I was that night. Because it was in dark, wrestled him. I was uber bitch. Because I took him to our hospital to get a blood draw. For some reason, they said no because we had to take him to county. County wouldn't accept our blood draw. So I was like, "Okay, can we let's go to county." Yeah, it was some paperwork stuff, right? So we go to county. Well, by the time I get him to county, the nurse is off. So they're like, they won't let me clock back in to draw his blood. So I'm like, son of a gun. He's like, "Uber bitch, where are we going now?" I'm like, "Oh, good one. And so I walk him back. I'm like, "Hey, can we get a couple guys? Instead of being a use of force, let's get 5 guys up there and let's just hold him so we can draw the blood." He's like, "Let's go, Uber bitch. I'll be waiting for your 5 guys." So we get there. He starts rattling off. So he starts trying to kick a little bit, and one of our guys, I was like, "Hey, let me take his legs." And there's a certain way you can do wrap the legs, and you apply a little bit of pressure, and it sucks, right? So very minimal use of force to get compliance.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that to him. He's like, "Oh, that freaking hurt. Who's on my leg? Who's on my legs?" I'm just sitting there and he would move a little bit, and I just, boom, hit him with it. He's like, "Stop." I go, "As soon as you quit, I quit." And he's like, I'm done. So they missed the vein, so they had to go get something else. So we're like, all right. So
God damn it.
I know. So we back away. He starts rattling off funny shit, calling everybody certain names. And he looks at me, and he looks at me. He's about to say something. He looks away, looks back, looks at my name tag. "Johnny?" I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" "Dude, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." He's like, I'll be fine. Get the blood." Funny. And he sat there. They drew the blood. We didn't have to touch him. And he's like, and on the whole way back, he's like, "Dude, I'm so sorry."
So he recognized the name.
Yeah, he recognized the name. And he's like, "I did not mean any of that." He's like, "I'm super sorry." He's like, "I love you."
I say just a fan or
yeah, he's just a fan,
that's
right?
Awesome.
And so I was like, "Hey, man, I don't take it personally." I was like, "I thought some of that stuff was pretty funny." You know, I mean, definitely when we started hitting all my coworkers, some of those nicknames. It's like, so I'm not mad about it.
That's
you know what I mean?
funny.
And that's happened a couple of times. We were talking earlier, and I get a call. They're like, "Hey, meet us at the jail." It took us 20 minutes to get this guy in there, right? So I show up. As soon as I show up, I start putting on my gloves, and a dude looks at me. He's like, "Man, you're not gonna have any problems with me." I was like, "All right, come on." I grab him. He's like, "Hey, I promise I won't do anything." I was like, "Okay." So I let him go. He walked in there, took off the cuffs. I was like, "Hey, do you mind sitting right over here?" He's like, "Yeah." Sitting down, didn't fight at all. And they were the other two that fighting for 20 minutes to get him in there. They were so pissed. They're like, what? And then afterwards, the guy was like, they called me later that night because I was working mid-techs. They're like, hey, that dude knew who you were. That's why he didn't fight. I was like, hey, call a spade a spade. I don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, he didn't fight.
I'm better than you, whatever.
Hey, I didn't have to battle that guy for 20 minutes. I go, I didn't even touch him walking in, man.
That's
He's
hilarious.
like, so it's stuff like that. That's cool.
That's awesome.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Now, I was wondering, do you, because, like you get guys come in the policing and let's say they speak Spanish or, they have to go speak Spanish everywhere or they're a woman, they have to go search other females everywhere. Do you just get calls from the guys that are just like, hey, can you come on this call? Like, just in case we have to fight somebody, you can just, go do it.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
I remember, so if we know it's a problem area, even if I'm working mid-techs, like on nights I'll work mid-techs because definitely during the school year, because I can see my kids go to sleep and then I'll go work off duty and come back by the time they're up. I can help wake them up, get them ready for school and that kind of stuff. So it happens a lot whenever I'm on nights. They'll be like, hey, we got to pull you off X, Y, and Z. I'll be like, oh, I know where you're going. And then it'll be rowdy. And as soon as I show up, they calm down and they and I'll take the combative one. I'll start talking to them and it just that sort of squashes it. And and we were talking about it, and I tell people this a lot. And he was talking about how y'all's use of force has gone down a lot the more that y'all train jiu-jitsu and the more that you do. And I watched it I forget where I watched it, or I read it, one of the two. This is years ago when I first started getting into policing, and the guy was saying that he did 100 or 1,000 top of the hardest criminals, and he gave them a 30-second clip of them, and they would go soft, medium, or hard target. And
A clip of a random individual?
Random individual.
Oh, okay.
And of that random individual, they were almost 98% all soft, all medium, all hard. And they started talking about it, and they were like, the way they walk, the way they stride, the way they handle themselves, right? And I don't know if that's I know it's from fighting, but is it from looking people in the eyes, talking calmly, even though they're being irate?
Yeah.
Or is it that I don't know, do I walk with my chest out a little bit differently than the guy next to me? He's bigger. I've had guys where my sergeant, he was 6'3", 240. Right? Buff guy. He works out a lot.
I always felt like it's less about the ability of what you can do that people pick up on as much as it is what you can take. So if I have a confrontation with with somebody, especially if it's a civilian, and they're getting all worked up, they want to kick my ass or whatever. Even if they get close to me, I'm not by no stretch am I some super proficient grappler or fighter or anything. But I know worst case, if you hit me in the face, I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
I've gotten the shit kicked out of me before. I'll be fine. You can hit me and once you do that, then we'll go full dress whatever from there. But I think there's this, I've always thought, because it's the same way if you have cops that had a little rougher way of growing up, they get treated much differently than your cops who, high school, college, first real job is policing. Those guys typically get a lot more pushback than your guys who grew up on the street a little bit, because what those guys grow up doing? Getting their ass whooped. So I think there's people pick up on this guy knows he's not glass. Yeah. And he's not going to take as much shit.
Swag is important.
Yeah, because like I said, I've been on some calls where dude's bigger, but when we were talking outside too, I still treat them as humans. Meaning if I grab you and I don't allow you to move, definitely the harder people, they don't like that, right?
Yeah.
They're so I'll grab somebody, and I remember I was talking to my sergeant about it. He's like, why are you, I give him an inch or two to move. right? And the guy will look at me, and like I'll just be like, "You good?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then we put him in the jail cell, and he's like, "I've never had a cop treat me like that." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he couldn't explain it, but the only thing I can explain is like when you grab somebody, you're making them where they don't want to move, right? And then when you control them, you're making them where they can't move. And I was like, I wonder if that's maybe some of it.
Well, because what do you not have? Like you see a young guy, you see like a young cop who's, like I said, it's one of his first things he's doing, and he has to put hands on someone. The first thing they do is just as hard as they can, as just no, stop, like make this stop. But I think a lot of that's born from fear.
Right.
You put hands on somebody, it's very familiar.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll give you a little bit, and then if you act up, then I'll take it away or whatever. You don't have that fear. You have that comfort.
You know what? I'll agree with you, and that's one thing I've told definitely every police station. I talk about this a lot. Every person who's been hired needs to know what it feels like to get punched in the nose to know what you're going to do. And it can't be once. It's got to be, what are you going to do? You get punched in the nose, and then he punches you right back in the nose again.
Yeah.
Are you going to fold? Are you going to take a couple steps back?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or are you going to take a step forward? What is your, you know what I mean? And I do agree with that. Like, all right, you break my nose.
Yeah.
Not the first time. I'll reset it myself. Did every other one. Worst case scenario, it takes a couple days to heal.
I'll probably go to the doctor personally.
Right.
He's gonna fix it himself.
Yeah. The first time I broke it, it was stuck like this. And I was in the shower. My wife was in the next room. And I pulled, and I relieved the pressure, right? And then I pulled again, and all of a sudden I just felt the pop. And I go, babe, I can breathe again. She's like, what? I was like, and she came in there, and like my nose was swollen from me breaking it again, I guess. But she was like, your nose is straight. I was like, yeah, I just went like this, and it felt good. And I pulled it down again. It just relocated where it was straight. But it's like that for, like, yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to keep you all day, but I do want to ask like as far as your wife goes. Like I know you mentioned how supportive she's been. Is policing kind of a relief to her versus the being with you during the fighting? Or
it's funny you say that. Yes, she loves that I'm a police officer now. Fighting took me away a lot,
right?
Yeah.
And my kids always ask me if I'd get back into it, and I don't want to be. I tell everybody, like definitely my kids, David was my favorite in the Bible, and I sort of feel like him to an extent, right? Where I know what it's like to hurt people, and I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like I felt like God put a strain on me. Like I remember it during my training. It was like I should have retired right then, but I didn't. I hit this guy and popped him down. It was a clean shot. It wasn't hard. It was just that he wasn't expecting it. Mm-hmm. I hit him, and like in my head, I went over there. I was like, "Dude, I'm so sorry." And my coach like looked at me. He's like, "What are you doing?" Because usually I hit him, and I just walked back like it wasn't even that hard of a hit. He like looked at me, and we had a talk.
It's like you can go back there if you need to go back there.
Right.
True warrior mentality.
You just hope you need to.
There you go.
Yeah, and I tell my kids that all the time. They're like, sports, school, like it's all up here. Mm-hmm. I can go back to school and learn if I wanted to. I like being a sort of a brute. You know what I mean? All bronze, no brains. Because that's what I enjoy doing, right? But like to
also, no one comes to you with the hard questions. No one comes to you with the hard questions. Like, hey, what do you? You know what? Never mind.
You know what? They do though. They do though. And you know what? I'll tell you this. So like with in our department, I'm the lead, so I'm the highest rank on our shift. Mm-hmm. And what I'll do, so 5 years. Yeah, we're young. Wow, yeah. We're a young department.
No kidding.
Now we have some transfers that have more time.
Oh, sure.
But they're still learning, like California, Arlington. Yeah.
Please don't.
California. Hey, we have a sergeant, and my sergeant's from California, and they have the right mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas some of these guys, they come and they want to police like they did in California, which is love and care. That's what you're thinking about, right? I will say this. I lived in Vegas for a little bit, right? For 3.5 years. And during that 3.5 years, dude, I'd come back, like, just as simple, open the door. Mm-hmm. If I open the door for you, what are you going to do?
Say, appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, right? Man, I would open the door, and, like, 10 people would try to scurry in and out, not say a word.
What the
I'd
hell?
be like, what just happened? Like, you know what I mean? That Southern hospitality.
Yeah,
that's why. That's one thing I'll say. I feel like that's hurting Texas, is we're getting so many of these people that are coming from not
transplant.
Yeah, they're transplants, and they don't want to fall into the Southern way. Meaning, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Look you in the eyes. Mm-hmm. Speak to your neighbor. Mm-hmm. You know that the Christian way and the way that I want my kids to grow up too. Know your neighbor, right? Talk to people. Like I'll go. Like right now, I'll go out. I only know 2 of them. The one next to me, they've been here they've been here before I was, right? And it's like pulling teeth to get. I'll be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And they're like, "Oh, it's a cop." Don't you know what I mean? Because everybody knows I'm a cop, right? And then, but a couple of my neighbors, like 3 of them, they know, and I'll talk to them. We'll stand outside for 30 minutes, have a conversation. Yeah. Where everybody else, like in Vegas, it took me 3 years to learn my neighbor.
Really? See, I'm a little different. Like I don't like we have neighbors who were there when we already got there, and super pro police, Cuban immigrants, like had pulled me aside when I first got there to rail about like where they came from, whatever. Because it was all like the height of like 2020 and all that crap, and. But then, like some of my other neighbors, like they just moved in. I don't know them. Like I don't know. Maybe it's bad of me. I don't care to know them. Like I'm very polite. I always say hi. I always kids are out riding bikes. Keep an eye on them or whatever. But I just
I'm gonna need you to get.
I should probably do better about that because I'm very much the guy who's just like I go in my house and I go out of my house and I'll
I think most people are leaning towards it. It's like take care of your own.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's a shift in the mindset. It is, I'm a control over here. How you doing? I got this over here,
But in my defense, I think a lot of it probably comes too from the job, and it's just like, I don't know what goes on in your house, man.
Yeah,
like,
I don't want to know.
I don't necessarily want to know. Like you're polite in your driveway, you wave back to me. Like that's it.
Let's leave it there. Let's leave it there.
All right. So this is my house, right? Caddy corner, we got 2 meth heads.
Oh, no.
Okay? They're getting evicted, but it is what it is. But for the last 3 years, they will yell, and I'm like, push the garage door, stop what I'm doing. I'm inside for the night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, like, they know I'm cops, but they know, like, I've gone to their calls, and it's like, I love going after meth and the hard drugs.
Yeah.
Like, I love it, because it's always a gymnastics with them. Mm-hmm. And the things they will come up and say, you're just like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Can't make it up.
I know it's a lie,
yeah.
but damn, well done, sir. Like, or ma'am. Like I pulled this one lady over, or no, she calls. One person called and said, hey, somebody's trespassing. So I drive over there. It's a business. The lady ends up leaving before I get there. I talk to the lady. She's like 85 years old, older lady, doesn't want to get out of her car. You know what I mean? She can barely move. This lady calls me back and says, I think that, hey, I just left this area, and I think she slashed my tires. I'm like, and you get used to talking to a certain type of people. You're like, you're on something.
Yeah, you don't almost know what it is, but you're just like, as soon as you talk to them, you're just like,
Yeah, you know something. So I'm like, why don't you come back and bring that to me?
yeah.
So
I
can
got
look
to
at
take
it.
pictures.
Yeah. So I said I got to take pictures of,
Yeah.
and so whenever I see her, you first look at her, you're like meth head.
Okay.
So you see like the little, so I'm like, meth head, are you using right now? So I'm talking to her, and she hands me her license. And can you explain why meth heads love going after like those different types of colors of rocks?
No idea. I mean, it has to be the drug.
Like, they're like, oh,
Crystals.
the crystal type
Yeah.
rocks.
Yeah.
They'll search creek beds for hours
Yeah.
for them, right? Well, I thought it was meth because she handed me her license, and I had no, like, in my head, I wasn't even thinking. I just grabbed it. I felt a crystal-like substance. I'm like, oh.
Because it would. Yeah, that would feel identical, actually. Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, so I just throw it on the hood of my car. I'm like, can I get somebody out here and bring some Narcan just in case?
Yeah.
So they're hauling butt to me, and I look at her. I'm like, so when's the last time you used? And she says, well, I came from California because I have a deadly disease, and nobody can figure it out. And I'm supposed to be in Houston right now, and they're supposed to tell me what it is.
Can we just stay on topic?
I was like, so she goes on this like 5-minute rant. And I'm like, ma'am, now I'm going to be honest with you. I can tell you've used meth before, right? She's like, yeah, but I quit like 10 years ago. So shorter end of the story, I ended up seeing the tire. She had a blowout. Had nothing to do with it. I searched her car, find like a smooth shard of a crystal about yay big. It's only like a little over a gram. And I arrest her. She's going back. She's like, why am I arrested? In California, it's only a citation. And I'm like, it's Texas. You're probably going to jail.
Yeah.
That's a felony. She's like, she starts bawling. I felt so bad because she was just crying. I was like, I thought it was just going to be like, because and over there, it's a class B.
Yeah.
Sometimes they take it, sometimes they throw it down the drum, you know what I mean? And they walk away.
Yeah.
Welcome to Texas.
Yeah.
Take that ride.
Enjoy your felony.
That's why I love that. But like I said, I've always loved messing with those guys.
Oh, yeah.
They come
that's
with
all I
some
did.
great.
Yeah. That's all I did in my time on the street. Well, I appreciate it, man. As soon as we shut this down and get him in the bathroom, I have a couple more
Yeah,
questions
no
I wanna
worries.
ask you.
No
So,
worries. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
absolutely.
appreciate you coming out.
All right, guys. Till next time.